Nigeria's Minister of State for Defense, Dr. Bello Matawalle, has called for investigation into the denial of Canadian visas to Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa and other top military officials. The delegation was scheduled to attend an event in Canada honoring Nigerian veterans. Matawalle described the incident as an affront to Nigeria's dignity and urged the government to take a firm diplomatic stand. In a statement, he emphasized that Nigeria must not tolerate such treatment on the global stage. While the reasons for the visa refusal remain unclear, the incident raises concerns about diplomatic relations between Nigeria and Canada. And for more on this, we're joined by a lawyer as well as a public affairs analyst, and that's Okiki Adeniran. Good afternoon, or good evening rather. Glad to have you join me on the news.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
All right. What do you think could be the underlying reasons behind Canada's decision to deny visas to Nigeria's top military officials?
Basically, I believe that the issue that has come up regarding the visa denial is an issue that we should look at, holistically. Basically, what has come up, right, hasn't been open to everyone in that sense. As it is, the Canadian embassy, there's a law, basically, a privacy act that says that things like this are not, open up to other individuals except the person who has been affected has given authorization for that. So there's so many speculations around. There's so many issues on ground that that have been said. Basically, that I believe one of the speculations that has been going around is that a particular document that was supposed to be sent by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs wasn't sent, and that was why these officials were denied visa. Having said that, I believe that there are issues that beyond this. I believe that these issues are to be addressed by the government, and need this in the board for us to have a good resolution.
But then how do you think these can affect diplomatic relations between Nigeria and Canada in the long run?
Well, I believe that this issue isn't an issue that should be blown out of proportion. As it is, it's a visa denial, and the government at this time should also have a conversation with the Canadian government. This particular issue shouldn't be an issue where both parties will then take a decision as to how to relate going forward. It's an issue that both parties should sit down and discuss and have issues resolved. Just like I've stated, the major issue, although speculatively, has been that a document that was supposed to be attached to the application wasn't attached. Although the comments from different quarters, especially from the NSA, has not been, a comment that maybe the country will appreciate. But I believe that Nigeria and Canada, they have been in a good relationship beforehand, and this should be pushed forward, and these issues partly should put aside, and issues addressed directly rather than speaking from different sides and causing that might cause chaos, basically.
Well, I hear you suggesting that Nigerian government speaks to the Canadian government to see how this issue can be addressed, but then a proactive measure going forward, how can we prevent such occurrence?
Well, to prevent such occurrence, I believe what we should do is we need to engage different agencies of the government when such application is being made, right? I believe that when an application like this has been sought, agencies of the government that should also have their input should be engaged, so as not to have some of these things, something like this that has happened, repeat itself. I believe that going forward, the government should, try to engage even the country which they have applied to in a proper manner, in such a way that, you know, this particular country, despite the fact that they have procedures and they have ways of doing their things, you know, can even, you know, settle issues without even probably issuing a denial or even rejecting the application. I believe this kind of application or this kind of issue should be something that can be, you know, dealt with just over the phone conversation, or probably a communication sent to the government agency, and issues, you know, resolved accordingly.
Does this in any way, you know, indicate a broader trend of international scrutiny on Nigeria's military? And if so, why?
So can you say that again, please?
I will say, does this in any way indicate a broader scrutiny of international, a broader trend of scrutiny on Nigeria's military? And if so, what could possibly be the reason?
No, I don't think so. I don't believe so. This issue for me is it's an issue that that's, in fact, that by now should have been put aside, right? It's an issue that's probably just administrative, right? Not to put so much importance on this visa denial. I believe that if we do things, just like I've said, do things properly administratively, some of these issues will not come up. Some of these things will not come up. And I believe that it is not about trying to scrutinize our military personnel. It's basically, for me, and I believe that it's basically an administrative steps that were probably, you know, missed, and, you know, that brought about this kind of results. And going forward, I believe that different agencies that have been mentioned, you know, would take charge and ensure that things are done properly. Our military personnel are not in quotes, at least we can speak regarding that they are not on any kind of list in that sense that should warrant them being denied visa. So I believe that, you know, going forward, we want to have this occurrence, and such thing will be put aside as quick as possible and resolved in case there's any issue at all.
All right, thank you so much for your perspective on the news. Okiki Adeniran, lawyer and public affairs analyst. Many thanks indeed.
Thank you for having me.